Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Super Game Brothers podcast. This is episode number 44 of the weekly board game and video game podcast that we do. My name is David, and I am the host, joined as always by my Super Game Brother, Devin. How are you doing today?
Devin is fan-freaking-tastic, brother. How you doing?
Nice. Love it. Oh, I'm doing good. It's been a, busy week. This, just been so swamped at work. I had you ever gotten like trouble at work?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I have this coworker, and they're very persistent, and the things they ask me for are not like the highest priority, but they think they are. And so she complained about me, and I'm trying to be like ultra responsive this week, and it's kind of killed me, like just crushing everything. Not that I usually don't, but you know.
Well, what do the people above you think about the situation?
It was fine. I had a chat with my boss about it, and it was fine. But,
he like kind of like sided with you. He's like, okay.
He's like, I know that she's very persistent. Let's just, I don't know, try to communicate with her a little better, I guess.
That's the worst though, when you feel like you let people down or something.
I know. It's really annoying.
Super uncomfortable feeling, especially when you put a ton of effort into that never happening.
Mm-hmm. It's just hard as the company grows. We talked about it a little bit too. I'm the only employee in my role, so we're going to be hiring another analyst, I think, but probably not for a few months. But that'll help as well, because I'm a little stretched thin. I think that kind of doesn't help here either. Anyways, because of that stressful week at work, just trying to like be uber great, prove that you're valuable a little bit. You try a little bit harder sometimes doing that after you've had like something like that.
I got a question for you.
Go ahead.
Without a master's degree in data analytics, if that's what it's called.
Yeah.
Do you think you could still do your job?
Yes.
Really?
I think it helped a lot with like concepts and like, hey, these are important things to learn, but in college you touch on them not incredibly deeply.
So college is broad, and then depending on what company you ended up at, that's when the specifics come in, and anybody could just learn that. But you got the opportunity because I
don't know if like anybody can learn it, but somebody that likes math, likes coding, and has like some experience with Excel and SQL could learn it. So I don't know. I think anyone could learn it, just like anyone can learn almost anything. I do think the master's degree helped with concepts and like getting your foot in the door. Helped me get a lot of interviews.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Crazy.
So yeah, I don't know. I have a weird relationship with college. I'm really grateful that I didn't like go to like Harvard or something and have hundreds of thousands of dollars of debt. I did it as cheap as possible. I have like $10,000 of student debt, which is very low compared to most people.
Well, that's crazy. I was watching. Conor McGregor was at the BYU basketball game yesterday.
I saw that.
And I was watching the game, and I was like, I should have gone to college more and been like a part of something that seemed fun. I want to like be in the stands cheering on my school.
Yeah.
Because I got that school pride. And then I was like, how do you afford that? I did a couple semesters of college, and I don't know if I was blowing money like crazy while I was there, but it goes away quick.
No, yeah, it does. And you kind of just got to be careful. Like, if you can pick a school that is good and reputable, but doesn't charge like an arm and a leg for tuition, like BYU, for example, I think they're like $3,000 or $4,000 a semester, which is it sounds like a lot, but compared to a lot of schools that are like, top schools, like if you're looking at like Harvard or Stanford or something, you're probably like moving out of state, you're going to stay on campus. You're like $50,000 a semester. Tuition is probably 10 times. 10 times more than BYU, and then you got to have housing and stuff.
So you go to the school, and then you spend the rest of your life paying back that school for that experience.
Yeah, well, the school got their money. You're paying back a bank somewhere.
just to be able to tell your friends I went to Harvard.
Yeah, I mean, you're supposedly getting a higher level of education, get hopefully a better job and higher pay, like up front. Like if you're making,
well, that's the hope.
If you're making an extra 50 grand a year because you went to that school, then maybe in 5-10 years it kind of outweighs itself, or you start your own company or something. But yeah, it's a little brutal. I feel like the importance of college is going down very quickly, where anyone can learn anything online. But I don't know. I feel like we're just at the tail end of degrees being kind of important to help you at least get interviews. I have one of my best friends is a recruiter, and he says that they don't even, and it's a software company that he works for. So it's like, they're trying to be pretty cutting edge with who they hire, and they don't even look for degrees anymore. It's like a requirement. Like, we don't really care if you have a bachelor's degree. We just want to make sure you can do the job. You're going to be reliable, that kind of thing. So yeah, I don't know. It is hard. Working is, man, it's a weird thing. You can have like some good relationships, do some cool things, like excited about it. But then you cannot at places and feel like other people are taking advantage of you. I've really liked working at a small startup, because one of their core values is like everyone's an owner. So even though I'm not one of the founders of the company, like they give you some stock when you join. They give everyone some, and then that like slowly vests to you over a few years. And then if you stay and are performing well and like get promotions, they'll give you more. So you have like a ownership chunk of the company. So you feel a little more like invested. And if the company was ever to like go public and be worth billions of dollars, then hey, I'd make some money. Not that much, but I'd make some.
Heck yeah, that's cool.
So, I don't know. It feels a little different than like, I don't know, I worked at Best Buy for a while, and I'm like, they're not giving me no stock options when I was selling computers. So I don't know. It's crazy out there, and it's kind of a hard time to get a job, I think, and I don't know. It is nuts. Money is such a weird thing, where like we have to have it, but it's like frustrating. Corporations kind of like run our countries at times, and it feels like they're taking advantage of everyone by manipulating governments to make laws that make it so they make more money, and then they can prey on like poor people and their employees even more and more. That's like a whole thing, but
life in general is weird.
Yeah.
Our sister's husband has been at Sundance for a week, so I've been going to her house every night to sleep there. For protection. Cause,
you beat him up.
Yeah, someone steps up, So I was on my way over there last night, and I was like, this is so odd. I'm just this weird being that can think, and I'm driving this machine up this icy hill because another being that can think is like a little bit scared to sleep alone, and I'm just gonna like drive there and then just be there. Life's just weird.
It is.
And money makes it more weird.
It is. Yeah, it does. And it makes people that should be friends like hate each other, or steal from each other, or not be honest. Yeah, it's a whole thing.
Yeah, if you watch like the Beast games.
Oh, yeah.
Spot on.
Yeah.
The people, they'll manipulate you and lie to you just to increase their chances of winning $1 million by 3%.
It is hard. I go back and forth on that one. We've been watching that too. It's been a lot of fun. Pretty well done show, in my opinion. I think.
Yeah, it is fun. I didn't know they were rolling out episodes like weekly, though.
Yeah, a little slow to. If you're caught up, it's a little slow. But yeah, I've gone back and forth. Like, I wish that in a scenario like that, if it was more important, like the end of the world, I would hope that I'm still like good and care for humans and like I have integrity. But in something like this, it's a game show with the word game in the title. It's supposed to be a game. They're trying to get like all this drama of people, there were those two brothers that kind of manipulated that one girl in the room, and they were like really mean to her or whatever. So they like kind of like that for the story thing, but it is a game. Like these aren't like life and death situations.
So you're saying maybe you should be like that to play the game well?
Maybe, because it's a game. But if it was anything more important than that, and some people view it like, oh, there's $1 million. It is important. It's life or death. But I feel like it's different. So I don't know. I go back and forth on like, did you watch the last one with the train?
I did, yeah.
Yeah, we're like, okay, who do I get rid of my closest friend and get a car or whatever, a Lamborghini or
yeah, it's tough because I look at probability a lot.
Yeah.
You go in, what was there, 1,000 people?
Mm-hmm.
And so the odds of me winning anything is 0.01%. Correct?
0.1. Yeah.
0.1. Yeah. My bad. Which is terrible.
Yeah.
You know, like.
And I think they actually started with 2,000.
Which makes it even worse.
They had a YouTube video that they put out before Beast Games aired on Prime. It was like how the first 1,000 got cut off.
Yeah.
And so I think there were 2. So
yeah. So just knowing the numbers, it'd be hard for me not to take the car or take an offer where he's just like, hey, you can give up your chance at the big money and you guys can split this 200,000 and leave. I might be like,
I would take it almost every time.
Okay, yeah.
The guy that got the best deal is the dude that got to take like the treasure chest when they were fighting for the island.
Okay.
He got $430,000.
I watched that and I have no memory of that, but that's insane.
I think there were 4 of them left, and he took the price of the island, 1.8 million, and divided it by 4, and said you could take like cash basically equivalent to 1/4 of the island. Maybe it was divided by 5, I can't remember. And go home, or you can keep fighting and try to win the island. And he was in a good spot then, because he to take that, he didn't have to break anyone's trust or screw anyone over. He just basically took it, and no one had bad feelings towards him. He was just,
and
I definitely would have taken that one.
It's a fat sum of money too,
because some of the other people have gone home for a lot less, like 50 grand and things like that. Money. It's a fun show. Yeah, money's fun. But Devin, like we always do, we're gonna jump right into the Super Movie Brothers section here.
Heck yeah.
Or TV Brothers, whatever we want to call it. I have sad news. I got behind, both at work, and I feel like we just had a busy week last week with basketball games for our 7-year-old who started basketball again and some other stuff. So I never got around to finishing the last 2 episodes of Arcane before my subscription left.
Oh, no way.
So next time I subscribe, I'll finish those. Really enjoyed it, but don't have really much else new to say about it since last week. I did watch one movie. I couldn't believe it was based on a true story, and makes me just wonder how many other things are hidden in the CIA and the government. But this movie's called, I don't know if the full name is The Torture Report or just The Report, because on the title, that word torture is what do they call that? Like a red line, black line, crossed off. And has Adam Driver as this guy that works for a senator, and he's in charge of this committee that is supposed to be reviewing how the CIA treated prisoners of war in Afghanistan, I think, after 9/11. Because and there are 120 people that they detained in these prison camps in Afghanistan after 9/11 because they were nervous somebody else was going to, attack us again and trying to get intelligence over there. But man, they did brutal things to those people. I could not believe it. And it's a true story. It was actually for kind of being a political drama movie, which can be kind of boring at times. Mm-hmm. Adam Driver obviously is an excellent actor. And it was really good. So I'd recommend that one. The Report. Yeah, I don't know that I have much else to say about it other than it's good. I wouldn't want to. I feel like I've kind of spoiled the whole premise, but there's not really major spoilers about the movie. It's kind of this is what happened. It's good.
You pay better attention to details of movies than me.
Oh,
I see I look at a movie, I feel like I do pay super close attention and I get super absorbed into them, but at the same time, so many movies are the same. So my brain instantly just goes, okay, those guys are FBI, this guy, who's going to end up winning in the end. You look
for patterns, yeah.
And yeah, that was my whole thing. I've watched some movies lately, but I don't remember what. I watched something called The Dark City. From 2000.
I don't know.
Pretty big names in that, actually.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know that one.
It was weird.
The Dark City.
I think that's what it was called. Maybe it wasn't.
In The Report, one of the other people that was in like the 3 or 4 person committee that were reviewing these millions of like documents and emails from the CIA is played by the main female character from what's that show called with Bill Hader on HBO where he's like the hitman or whatever. Barry, yeah. The female lead. I don't know the actress's name, but she's excellent in that show. She was one of the committee members as well. And I was like, good, know her.
I know that person
personally, but she did a good job too. So, anyways, that's all I've got for Super Movie Brothers, though, Devin.
Let me think. Super Movie Brothers. I still watch Impractical Jokers a lot. Joe Gatto just released his own stand-up comedy on Hulu.
Is it good?
It's interesting.
I imagine
I struggled a little bit.
I imagine he's too high energy for me. Just trying to picture in my head how he would be like up there. I picture high energy Joe.
Yeah, he's confident up there. It's crazy. I just watched like 10-15 minutes just to see what his character would be like in that setting compared to the show.
Mm-hmm.
And I would prefer him in the show, just doing the weird stuff instead of making jokes about it.
Yeah.
Because that is a skill of his. I can make people feel awkward and not feel that awkward in it.
He's excellent at it, yeah.
I don't know that always just transitions to I'm an amazing stand-up comedian because that is a very difficult...
Very, very different. I'm much more drawn to stand-up comedians that are sarcastic and kind of less emotion, like with dry deliveries. Like, I don't know. I think Kevin Hart's probably the only one that I like that isn't like that. He's pretty, high energy, but like Jim Gaffigan, Lacey and I watched, I think his newest one actually. It was funny, but he's like, him and Nate Bargatze are my two favorite comedians, and they're both like a similar tone, like sarcasm, dry comedy. I like it like that for some reason, where they say something funny but do it with a straight face. For some reason, makes it funnier. I don't know why. As opposed to like some stand-ups are like, I don't even know. They're like everywhere and like moving the stool and like, you know what I mean? There's like a difference there. I don't watch a ton of stand-up, but
I don't either.
That's kind of fun though. Do love the Impractical Jokers guys. They're funny. Well, in other news, I went to Topgolf on Monday, and actually last Friday I had my first ever golf lesson,
which is wild. I couldn't believe it when you told me that.
Yeah, it was actually really, really great. You feel like sometimes just standing there by yourself, if I swing 200 times, I'll get better. You kind of like get in more of a flow, but it's not really true. You're kind of like cementing bad things sometimes,
Yeah.
So it's really great to have somebody that knows what they're doing, like watch you and give you pointers, tell you like, hey, your hand should be this way, or so I feel like I made a lot of progress in that lesson, which was cool. My buddy wanted to do the lesson, and so we did a group lesson and just kind of split the cost in half. It wasn't too bad. It was like $50 a person for an hour, and the guy was really good. I'm very much a beginner at golf, but
did you feel awkward, like almost embarrassed? You're like, hey, bear with me. I'm not good at this game.
I did at first.
So don't judge me hardcore.
I did at first, especially because my buddy's really good. He's really good at golf. He's had dozens of lessons and played hundreds and hundreds of times. So he's excellent. But yeah, the biggest takeaway I had, man, if you're playing golf right, you're so loose. Like, I think he said on a scale of 1 to 10 of how hard you're holding your club, it should be a 2. Like he said just, and like your wrist should be so loose that they're like this, just moving. And that's very different. I'm going to send this thing to the moon, and I got that grip so tight. But it's totally true. That, and he had me stand farther away from the ball. And just some other like things like that. But just swinging with that smoothness and like really soft grip, man, you hit the ball so much better. And you almost don't even feel the ball because you're just kind of like flopping that club in there. And it just kind of takes care of sending the ball, where in the past I've been swinging like way hard and you can like feel it like reverberate through the club, like through your
Oh, yeah.
wrists. And I like would go home sore, like my wrists and my hands hurt. But man, such a difference. So that's my little mini podcast golf lesson.
Well, that's a good takeaway. It's the same thing I taught myself to excel in Rocket League.
You're really good at that with video games, like the softest, like
oh yeah,
touch on the controller.
Every time I play it, I'm like in this mental state of hey, loose, fast, precise movements, no panicking. And that sounds like that works in golf as well.
It does, man. It's so fun. I need to get that what do they call it, platinum pass, so I can go every day, and then you should just come with me because you can bring as many friends as you want. And it's so fun once you just like start hitting some well. And
yeah, I would much prefer to do that over like bowling.
Yeah, me too. Golf's fun. I like bowling. I took a bowling class in college.
So did I.
But
what's your highest score you ever got?
198. I didn't quite break 2.
I got a 209 once.
Oh, nice. That's a good one.
And our cousin got a 209. He tied me, and our brother got a 216.
Wow.
Those are legit numbers. Talented.
Yeah, that's a high score.
We were so used to this weird little janky bowling alley in a small town in Logan, Utah, that I don't know if they ever waxed the floors. So we were like used to exactly how they would spin or grab the ground. It was epic. But
that's funny.
We got decent at it from doing it just so consistently, and now I don't think I could break 150.
Yeah, I don't know if I could either. I still have my glow in the dark bowling shoes though, so next time I go.
Oh gosh,
they're not that nice. They're like $20, yellow and orange. Look like Ronald McDonald out there.
I remember glow in the dark used to be the thing.
Oh yeah,
it was like way cool. If something glue in the dark?
Glowed? I don't know. It's probably glowed.
It glowed?
It sounds wrong. But glue sounds wrong too.
It glue in the dark. You knew it was cool. I miss the 90s, bro. Sometimes I really do. Funny toys. Tech was so behind where it is now. It's like any sign of it doing anything with the screen was like, holy. Yeah. This is crazy.
I remember those like, I don't know if it wasn't Fisher Price, but there was some brand of toy maker that made all those like little janky video game things. There was like a Lion King one that our friends had.
Yeah, just the
two buttons kind of, and
yes,
they would move kind of like a Mr. Game & Watch, like across the screen and jump away from Scar or whatever. Those things were like, wow, this is the craziest thing I've ever seen. And now I'm, I don't even know. I played, what's that called? Lies of P on a handheld earlier last year. So it's just crazy how
every game is so impressive nowadays. Like we get very used to it, and all we do is complain about the things we dislike about the game. Yeah. But if you think about what you're doing, like Fortnite, for example, you get a group of friends, you can all voice chat with each other as if you're in the same room, and we're all sitting there dancing to a Billie Eilish song in this house that we've rebuilt out of bricks. And
I'm like driving a Warthog as Master Chief around.
Yeah, it's just nonsense. I don't know. Games are cool. Technology's cool. I just don't understand it.
They are. And especially, and even board games. So much more choice nowadays, and pieces are so much nicer. And they're a lot more strategic. Just great all around. Good time to be alive.
It sure is. Yes, sir.
But I do miss the simplicity of like, well, today I'm going to jump on the tramp or go play basketball in the front yard or ride my bike all day. Which one of those? Probably a mixture. Then I'll hop over the fence just for fun.
I think we were born in the perfect time, though, because that simplicity is so fun to remember. And it was such a perfect thing. But as an adult, I don't want it to go back to that.
Yeah, it's unfortunate we've like trained our brains now to need like ultimate dopamine all the time. I try not to, but
I see a screen, I'm like, ah!
What is that? I've never seen one. Yep, I agree. What got us to that? It was my bowling shoes. I didn't quite buy those in the 90s. I bought them in 2009. But
the fact that you know when you bought bowling shoes is epic.
I only know because I bought them the year I left to Denmark. And so again, those years are more cemented in my head because there was like a 2-year break from Denmark, Utah. Anyways. Well, Devin, unless there's anything else, let's hop right into it. This is the Super Game Brothers podcast. I'm going to hop over to our Patreon page just for fun here for a minute so you can see that. But we record this podcast every single week about the board games and video games we're playing, a little bit about the news, games in crowdfunding, and what we're excited about. Sometimes show games down here on the table or play some live. So we do all kinds of fun stuff. Over on our Patreon, which you can follow completely for free, but if you do support us over there, you can get our posts up to 3 days early. You can write into the show. We'll answer your questions and comments on the air, get your name in the credits. And this is just kind of what that interface looks like. You can also sign up on Patreon once and then put the RSS feed into Apple Podcasts or Spotify and then never go back to Patreon again. It'll just ping into your phone. Wow. So it's pretty nice. Fun stuff over there. So please check it out if you can. That's patreon.com/supergamebrothers. All right, Devin, for our first segment, we always jump into new games to subscription services. I added a new subscription service this month, baby.
Did.
Or week. Because I always forget there is a board game subscription service. I pay for it and use it. This is Board Game Arena, which I think is the best website to play board games on, especially if you want to play them quickly, because the computer takes like all of the logic and thinking out. Not thinking, but like all the boring stuff of like moving a card over, and I got to remember to reset the round track, and it rolls the dice. It still lets you make the decisions, but it does all of the math and everything for you. So you can play games that are even very long, much faster. I think there is something really cool about Tabletop Simulator, where it's just all the pieces on a table and you have free reign to like move them and make mistakes, and it takes extra time because you're actually moving stuff and someone might flip the table. I turn that off, so nobody's flipping my virtual table. But Board Game Arena, man, such a good deal too. You can play so many of they have like 1,000 games on here. You can play so many of them for free, and they do have a very competitively priced, I think it's $5 a month, or it might be $50. I think it's like $35 a year actually. So if you pay annually, you get it for like $3 a month, and then you can play every game. For free, you can play every game, you just can't start a game on certain premium games. You have to be invited to them. Anyways, so we're going to go over new games to this service as well every week, and there are at least one a week, and usually a few. I think the 3 big ones this week were Dead Cells, the roguelite board game. This was a very big game last year, and it's one that I don't think I want to own because it's big, expensive, big pieces. It's kind of a miniatures. Well, I don't know if it's like a miniature. It's not a dungeon crawl like some are, but there's a lot going on. And so I'm very excited to actually try this one on here because it will handle, like I mentioned, all of the math and the setup and the teardown and all of that. What is that called? Not implementation, all of the
maintenance.
Yeah, maintenance. Administration, I think, is what I was looking for, but I like maintenance. That's probably better. So anyways, that one, again, was super popular last year. So this is kind of a big get for them, I think. That's Dead Cells, the board game. Next up is a game I have behind me. I've had this one for quite a while. It was also one of the earliest games I got. I'm just noticing that someone snuck a picture of Homer Simpson in there, though.
Oh, that's amazing.
I don't know.
We need more stuff like that. You just do the most random thing.
That's very funny. This is an excellent game. A little thinky. It's like Moncala, where you pick up all of the dudes on one location, one tile, and then one at a time you drop them off at connecting tiles, and then wherever you end, you get to do something there. And so you kind of have to be able to puzzle that out in your head. You pick it up pretty quickly. It's a very, very famous game from Bruno Catala. I don't know how to pronounce that last name perfectly, but there was my attempt. Played this one many times. My wife really likes it as well. So that's a big get for them. And then this one I just got last year as well. Have it behind me. Haven't played it yet. It's supposed to be excellent.
I think I chose this game in crowdfunding or something on one of the weeks.
You did. I had us earlier last year pick 10 games that we thought looked cool coming up in 2024, and you
Yeah.
picked this one.
Yeah.
Has a very cool Japanese vibe to it, very pretty art on the cards. The cards are really big. And you play cards out in front of you on a Monday through like Friday or Saturday kind of itinerary, planning your trip to Japan. And then at the end of the game, after you've played all the cards down, you kind of like go through your day to see like how many you scored and stuff. It's supposed to be great. So I think those were the 3 big new games to Board Game Arena this week, since January 22nd. And then I think this one was just today. Is today the 29th? I think today is the 29th.
Yes,
Dead
yeah.
Cells there. So anyways, those are the new games to Board Game Arena. If you ever want to play a game with me, you can add me. You can see my username right there. It's Spaceman Spiff. If my head happens.
Did you come up with that picture?
Oh, I did. Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Yes, I love Charge and Chuck. I have this as my avatar anywhere I can. It's actually a moving GIF where his head moves back and forth, left to right. Some websites allow it to move, but some don't, and this one doesn't, which is a bummer. But yeah, I love Charge and Chuck. He's one of my favorite.
Yeah, one of the coolest.
Mario.
Probably is the coolest enemy in Super Mario.
Very cool one. Just so random. Like, we can't think of an enemy. How about we just throw in a football player that throws baseballs? What is he?
I don't know.
Because it's a football helmet, and he's got like football pads, but then he's got like or maybe it is just baseball, because that kind of looks like a catcher's like guard, like down his chest and shoulders. But I can't picture like does a catcher wear a helmet like that? I feel like it's more of a football helmet. I don't know, maybe it's just baseball and I'm mixing sports, but either way, Charge and Chuck, he's a cool guy. So that's Board Game Arena. All right. Uh-oh, you're seeing too much about me. You see I'm 34 years old, dang it.
Oh no.
All right, over to video games. PlayStation has announced the new games coming to PlayStation Plus Essential for the month of February. So next Tuesday, these 3 games will be available. Payday 3 on PlayStation 5. I don't know how that one is done, but I always thought Payday looked fun. You basically get in like a squad with your buddies, and then you try to like rob a bank, like do a successful heist, and like the police pull up, and you have to like get the money and get out.
You've never played one though?
I haven't, but it's a cool idea, especially if playing with friends. I bet it's kind of fun. High on Life is supposed to be a very crude, but like comedy game.
Oh, I've seen it. Doesn't the weapon talk?
Yeah. I think it maybe was written by like the Rick and Morty guys or something.
I think it does have something to do with them, yes.
And then Pac-Man World Repack. I don't know like anything about that.
Yeah, me neither.
Let's just look really quickly. High on Life doesn't mention Rick and Morty, but I'm pretty sure Squanch Games. I'm pretty sure that is what it is. I want to see what it says here about Pac-Man World Repack. It's a 2004 remake of the original PlayStation platformer. Interesting. So those are the 3 new games. They also had an update going forward, which was kind of big news. So they have a little update here. Update on PlayStation 4 games for PlayStation Plus. I won't read this whole thing here, but basically they're changing PlayStation Plus as we shift to PlayStation 5. PlayStation 4 games will no longer be a key benefit and will only be occasionally offered for PlayStation Plus monthly games and game catalogs starting January 2026. So in a year, basically, they're going to transition to it almost exclusively, it sounds like, being PlayStation 5 games, which it's about time. A lot of the games they've been giving away recently have been both, like cross PS4 and PS5 anyway. So anyways, I don't know that that's really a big deal for me. In fact, it's kind of exciting to me to step away from those, and hopefully maybe they'll start adding like a PlayStation VR 2 game in there or something, or who knows. But that was a bit of news that they're going to stop doing that in January 2026. I imagine you'll still get 3 games. It won't be a PlayStation 4 game. All right.
Got some Nintendo.
Do we?
We sure do.
We do. I forgot.
Looks like Game Pass will be in February.
Yep, that's right. They haven't announced their first wave of February yet. I don't remember what these ones were, so this will be interesting for me to see as well. Oh yeah, here we go. let's click on this video. The 3 games are Fatal Fury 2, Super Ninja Boy, and Sude Hakun, which is an action puzzle title. There's Fatal Fury. Kind of gives you Street Fighter vibes, but Fatal Fury's been around for a long time. It's a pretty popular series, I think. I've never played a Fatal Fury, though. See what Ninja Boy looks like. I've never played this one either. Kind of gave me Bubble Bobble vibes there at the beginning, but then now this looks like Final Fantasy. What's going on? Group of enemies. Is it turn-based? Well, it looked like it was, but now they're punching stuff.
It's a weird-looking dog snake.
Yeah, that is a very weird-looking enemy. Anyway, Super Ninja Boy. And then this last one I feel like had never been released outside of Japan. I saw some people talking about it on Twitter, so... and it's supposed to be a pretty good puzzle game. You're a weird, like, transparent Kirby bird looking thing, but you just saw him there, like, absorb some blue ink and was able to do something with it. So it's a puzzle game through and through. I kind of like how it looks, to be honest, so I might check that one out. It's like red might make the brick go upwards for some reason. Anyways,
Weird.
3 new games. They're out on the Super Nintendo emulator on Nintendo Switch Online. All right, I think next up is the Epic Game Store. They have a free game every week, and this week it's a game called Undying, where I think you've been bitten by a zombie, and it says your days are limited, so you must not fight, or what does it say? You must now fight to survive, not for herself, but for her young son, Cody. Looks like it's a little violent, and the gameplay looks a little maybe janky or simple, but I don't know. I kind of like the way the user interface looks, and that might be an okay, like, kind of premise. There was one thing that I thought looked really funny, though. Let me pull this up here. The mom, infected to be a zombie, right? Here in a second. A little gruesome. She picks up the phone, and I don't know if the zombie only bit her hand, but man, look at that chonker in just a second. Oh gosh, that's a little brutal. I swear she picks up a phone. Maybe it wasn't a phone. But look at that hand. I thought the hand looked way chunky. Anyways.
Chunky hand.
Chunky hand. Undying. Add that to your Epic Games Store library if you want to play what's probably a sad game. Oh, she got bit in the hand. Okay, there we go. Now we know. Anyways, that's Undying. I think that's all of the new games to subscription services. We'll have Prime and Game Pass probably next week for the first week of February. All right, Devin. What's the next section? What we're playing. I've only been playing a couple of things, and Devin's played both of them with me at least a little bit. First up, I've been pounding through Ender Magnolia. Still really love it. It's the sequel to Ender Lilies. It's a great Metroidvania game. Has cool, like, kind of what looks like hand-drawn 2D art, but I don't know if it is, like, I don't know. It has very, very pretty art. Awesome piano music. It's just excellent. I really like the few things I like about it. Every time you beat a boss in kind of Mega Man style, you absorb their power or their spirit, and then you can use their abilities. And you get to map whichever spirits you want to square, triangle, circle, and R1. So you can really customize that. Devin was just playing downstairs and put like 2 shooting spirits on 2 different weapon buttons, and you have to hold them for them to continually shoot. And
I had a bird drum.
That's right. So you had 3 things just continually shooting. So you can actually do very specific builds, which is very cool. I'm kind of boring and stick to a build that I'm kind of used to after playing. I've played about 10 hours, probably beat 9 or 10 bosses at this point. I would recommend, if you like games to be slightly difficult, bumping the difficulty up from normal to hard. It doesn't do too much. It does give you more currency, like when you destroy crates and enemies. It doesn't give the enemies more health, but they do 1.5 times as much damage, and they attack 1.5, I think, times as often. So enemies are a little trickier and they hit harder. But other than that, it's almost the same as normal. Definitely recommend that. It's really cool. You can even make it harder than hard if you want. You can, those 1.5 sliders, you can totally manipulate however you want for totally custom. So even if you want it easy, you can. It's super cool. Really like it so far. Quite a bit of, what's the word I'm looking for? Variety in the bosses and builds. So I'm excited to continue to play this one. I hope, if there is one thing, I feel like it is quite a bit of a step up as far as like polish and how pretty it is, and the map is way better than the first game. I do wish there was just a tiny bit of voice acting though. Maybe even just for those like vignette scenes that pop up after you beat a boss that are only like 20 seconds long. I wish at least those were voice acted, because I'm like, this is supposed to be like an emotional scene, and I'm okay reading dialogue. I read it in a lot of games, but I feel like for its most important scenes, even Nine Souls had some voice acting. And sometimes it was just them making like a grunting noise or something, but it helped a bit. So that's probably my only negative at this point. Really like it. We'll see how it, I'm probably only a third through, I would imagine. Maybe close to half. I'm not sure, but excited to see how it wraps up. Devin, any thoughts on Enter Magnolia before I hop over to the other game that I've played a little bit this week?
I like how it looks.
Yeah.
Sometimes I like a game to force you to play it in its difficult setting.
Yeah.
Like Nine Souls.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, you are going to master this game before you can move on.
Or else you won't get the trophies.
Yeah, yes. Yeah. I think you can make this easier as well, can you not?
Yes, you can go below normal. Yeah.
And yeah, I guess I don't really care. Beautiful game. The main character's cool looking, looks like an old-fashioned little doll thing or something.
Yeah.
The combat is unique. Definitely takes a couple hours to get used to. Super diverse builds, though. You really... I don't know how to explain it without you just playing it.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot that can be manipulated to adjust how your character...
Yeah, you have all of those attack or abilities, like I mentioned, that you can put on square, triangle, circle, and R1. Every character that has an ability usually has 3 versions of it that you can choose from. All of those can also be upgraded. And then eventually you get like an ultimate for all of those. You also have a relic system, kind of like the charms in Hollow Knight, or the I forgot what they were called in Nine Souls. They're not charms, but whatever they were called. And you can buy new slots and, swap those in and out. So I feel like this is even more customizable than most Metroidvania games. But I cut you off a little bit there, Devin. But
no, you tapped into most things I was thinking about with this game, and I think it's good, though. I think anybody should play it.
Yes. If you like a good 2D game, I think this is a top tier, in my opinion. So, anyways, Enter Magnolia, Bloom in the Mist. It is... one more thing I'll say about it. I think it came out in January of 2024 in early access, where like they have like half the game ready and they're still working on some of the bosses or whatever. And then they basically like get to watch heat maps of like, this is where everyone went, and this is the struggles that people ran into. These are the comments we're getting, and these are what people are requesting. I'm generally not a huge fan of early access because I'm too excited. Like, I'm really bummed that Hades 2 is in early access. I'm like, get it out of there. I want to play it. But for games like this that like kind of require like really tight balancing, I do think once it does get out of early access into its version 1.0, it makes for a better and more polished game, maybe.
Yeah, I agree. It's nice to play a super polished game, but there's also, from my gaming history, the times I enjoyed gaming the most was when I was playing a game at the same time as my friends.
Yeah, that too.
And if you're playing it after everyone else has already played it in the last year through early access, and you're getting all hyped, and they're not hyped about it anymore, you're basically just talking to yourself in the mirror about how cool you think this game is that's not really new.
That's another reason I don't like trying to play them early. And so having like 2 release dates almost is kind of weird. Luckily, nobody that I know really does early access. So
Yeah.
anytime I'm interested in a game, like the actual release date, version 1.0 is usually all that any of us are caring about. But if I had any other friends that were like really, really deep into some games, I imagine they would try early access on some things. So I don't know. There's a weird balance. Anyways, that's Ender Magnolia. It's really great. Other than that, I played a few hours of Astrobot with Devin last week. And I think we almost finished the fourth world. And man, some of those levels are so creative. They're just great. I think the most famous level in this game is the one where you can grow and shrink at will. Do you remember that one? I think I played that one before you came over last week, but some of the ones that we were playing last week I thought were almost just as clever. Like the one levels that let you slow down time are really cool. What levels did we play when you were here?
You can turn into a heavy little black ball.
Right, and you were rolling over spikes and stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, that was a fun one. I feel like there was a couple others and my memory is losing me, but anyways, yeah, Astrobot is just great. I feel like we've said it quite a few times on the show. It's won a bajillion Game of the Year awards now. Just a little shout out. If you haven't played this game yet, there is a Critics' Choice sale going on PlayStation Network. I think you can get it for $47 instead of, can't remember if it was 60 or 70. So if you've been waiting for a little mini sale, there's like, what's that, 20% off? 10? Who knows math? It's not like I do math every day for work, but there's some sale. So.
Do you think Nintendo took notes and they're like, oh dang, Sony doesn't typically make these kid platformers and they just blew everything out of the water? What are we doing wrong?
Yeah, I don't know if you remember this guy. There was the Nintendo of America president for probably like 15 or 20 years. Very famous in the video game world. His name was Reggie Fils-Aimé. Anyways, he's since retired, probably 5 years ago. But somebody got an interview with him a few weeks ago, and he said, yeah, I think Sony just about out Nintendo'd Nintendo with Astrobot. And so I think, Nintendo's probably taking note a little bit. Probably are going to really want, I think just the fact that it runs in 4K, like it looks so good, helps a lot.
Oh, yeah.
The Switch 2 needs to be able to run Super Mario Galaxy 3 or whatever the next major Mario game is at levels that look this pretty.
Yeah, high frame rate. You can interact with everything. Haptic feedback in the controller. 4K.
Mm-hmm.
They threw super nostalgic characters from everyone's childhood in the game. Like, yeah, they just tapped nostalgia factor,
hardcore. So yeah, I don't know. I think it is really great. I think it's one of my favorite 3D platformers I've ever played. Up there with most of the other ones are Mario games. I mean, which is kind of crazy, but yeah, Astrobot's great. I think I've got a world and a half, and then the secret world, and a few collectibles left to get before I have the platinum. And then they've actually been releasing little DLC levels. Some of them are speed runs, and then they released a Christmas level that wasn't a speed run level. It's like an actual regular level with like go wherever you want, kind of within the confines of the level, and find the other bots and stuff. So anyways, love Astrobot. It was a good play here in the last week. I think those are the only 2 video games I played this week, Devin. Do you have any other surprise ones that you've been playing?
No, just dabbled a little bit in Rocket League. Haven't been gaming too much, playing the extra modes like Rumble, Snow Day, Hoops. Sometimes you play the normal soccer mode.
Yeah.
You climb the ranks so much it gets a little bit exhausting.
Yeah, I go back and forth. Some of those extra modes I don't really like the one with the power-ups.
That's Rumble,
yeah. Mm-hmm. But man, Hoops and Drop Shot are so good.
Yeah, they are fun. They're hard.
They don't deserve to be that good, but they're like so good. They are difficult, especially going from regular where like you're trying to score in a flat, soccer goal. Okay, now I'm scoring from above on a rim. That's a very different feel. And then Drop Shot, I'm scoring through the floor. Yeah, very weird, but those are fun ones.
Yeah, they really are. The only other thing I've played is I just get daily rewards in Clash Royale. They are releasing a new evolution for the Lumberjack in this next season, which probably happens in a week or two, and it's going to be crazy.
Yeah.
He spawns as a normal lumberjack. When he dies, a ghost version of him pops up out of the ground and cannot be killed with spells, cannot be hurt. Nobody sees him. And as long as the rage spell sits on the ground, he stays alive. So you can spam rage spells over the ghost version, and he'll just stay alive, just smacking stuff, and no one can see him.
Wow.
They're going to have to balance it, I'm sure, but it's an interesting announcement for Clash. It's a strange evolution that.
Yeah, that is one weird one where you can't see him.
Yeah, you can see him, but none of the troops in the field
React
or
to
the
him.
towers, nothing reacts to him. No, and you can't kill the ghost with spells, fireballs, zap, nothing.
So, and does he take damage ever? Is he on a timer?
He's on a timer if he's not in a rage spell.
Oh, okay.
He'll disappear.
So the rage spell will keep him alive.
Mm-hmm. Super, super weird, but
that is weird. That's like a huge new wrinkle, I feel like.
So
I feel like everyone's going to use that.
Yeah, a lot of people have quit the game because there's so many evolutions now. There's probably like 20 at least, 20 different evos of normal cards that were already in the game. And
yeah,
I like it because it increases the diversity of every match.
Yeah.
But
it's probably hard to balance the 300 or whatever characters they have.
Oh, man. Yeah, they've done a good job, though.
Yeah.
Truly.
Mm-hmm. I bet that's a very tough thing to do. But they have so much money, over there.
They love their money.
Supercell.
You should see their shop section now.
Is it crazy?
Oh, there's like 400 things you could buy every day. It's outrageous.
That's funny. Cool, Devin. Well, over to board games. I only played one this week. I think I have maybe talked about it a few weeks ago. I can't remember, though. But I played Inori. It's really cool. Kind of Studio Ghibli-esque vibes with the artwork. It's called, I think I already said this, Inori, from Teo Riviere, who's a designer I really like. I have quite a few games from him, and Matteo Aubert. I don't know how to pronounce it. I think they're French designers, so that's why I said it like that. But in this game, you are, on every turn, you're putting one of your little spirit dudes out on a card, or on the tree, but usually on a card. And you only have like 3 or 4 of them per round. The interesting part here is this game is actually surprisingly mean. You're generally looking for what will help me the most or hurt the other players that are closest to me and score the most, because at the end of each round, any card that doesn't have all of its slots filled up, so I don't know if you can see that, but this purple card that only has 2 of its 3 slots filled in will not score any points because it wasn't completely filled in. So some people are really gunning for specific cards to score. And sometimes it's in your best interest to, when you're allowed to move a worker, I'll just move one off that purple card that you really want to score, and it will no longer score at the end of this round. So it's a bit in your face, but the game's short enough that it doesn't bug me. It's like 30, 40 minutes. Really cool pieces. It's very abstract, but again, like I mentioned, really cool kind of wooden power kind of pieces that you're playing with, and the workers look good. It only has a 6.6 here on Board Game Geek, which is kind of surprising to me. Usually games that are good to great are like 7 and up. So I'm a little surprised that it didn't review better, because a few of the YouTube reviewers that I most respect their opinions really loved this game last year. And everyone I played it with really liked it. But you have to go in knowing it's a little bit mean. So anyways, played a match of Inori. I don't think I'll be getting rid of that one anytime soon. So yeah, I think that's it for the board games I played this last week, though, Devin. I canceled my regular board game night because of that golf lesson.
Oh, wow.
Which I really wanted to do, and it did help me a ton. So it was worth it, but we'll get back to board game night tomorrow. All right, Devin, for what we're looking forward to for video games this week, I'm mostly just playing Ender Magnolia, maybe a little bit of Astro to try and finish those up. Excellent games. I do have one other game sitting on my, what would you call it, my cross media bar on my PlayStation dashboard, just tempting me. And it is Tales of Iron 2, which came out just, I think, yesterday morning. But it's also like a tough, like RPG 2D with kind of Metroidvania elements. So I feel like it's too close to Ender Magnolia to play both at the same time.
Well, it'd be hard if the keybinds are
Exactly
different at all as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it'd be like playing, I don't even know, Dark Souls and something else that's also hard that has very different buttons for something that has X and square for attack instead of R1 and R2. Like you'd be totally messed up in your head. Yeah, this game, I loved the first one. Very excited to play this one. This one does have a narrator, so I'm excited to have like some voice acting in the background, which was my one kind of nitpick with Ender Magnolia so far. I like the animal kind of artwork. It looks like kind of like papercraft, like hand-drawn animals that kind of like move funny. It's funny, this game's actually, I think Nine Souls might have been rated M, just because it was like a little bit violent. This game to me seems way more violent. Like you're decapitating people and there's like blood spraying everywhere. It's only rated T. I don't know what's going on with the ratings, but like he gets disemboweled.
He's getting it right there.
But yeah, so a little bit brutal in its combat. You know, also has like parries and dodge rolling and that kind of stuff. And this time the enemies are the bats. So.
And is it supposed to be pretty difficult?
Yeah.
Awesome.
I think it has multiple difficulty levels. But yeah, it's supposed to be pretty tough. So excited for that one. Of the two art styles, Devin, which one do you like more? I kind of like them almost equally, just for different reasons. I don't know.
I wish the character wasn't shaking so much.
He does bounce a lot.
It's like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
He bounces a ton.
The Ender Magnolia character like almost floats above the ground because they move so smoothly. So yeah, it definitely is different. It's a little more lumbering kind of.
I don't know which art style's better to me.
Yeah, I like them both.
Yeah, they're awesome in their own ways.
Anyways, excited for that one. Probably be a few weeks before I get to it, but just cool looking. In this one, there's these big like animals you can hunt. It showed like a tarantula and a big rattlesnake and a huge frog. And I think you get like special abilities or materials or something from these hunts you can go on as well. So looks very cool. Very pumped for that. This, I don't know, might be the year where David only plays 2D games though. I guess I am playing Astrobot, but that one's not brand new. So I don't know.
Kind of sounds peaceful to just play 2D games. They're typically slightly simpler.
Yeah, I agree. It's kind of comfort food for me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't have to deal with like the camera other than if I want to move the right stick to like look up a little bit, I can or something. So I don't know. Very excited for that one. Tales of Iron 2. Any video games you're excited to play, Devin?
This one, to be honest.
Cool. You think you'd start this one before Ender Magnolia? It's kind of hard. You played a few hours of that one with me on my account.
Yeah, it's hard for me to go
hard
back.
To start over.
Yeah, I would probably play this.
Yeah.
Although it didn't review as well, you were saying it.
Yeah, it's like a 80-ish, where I think Ender Magnolia was like a 90. So, I mean, I don't always trust aggregate reviews. Sometimes I really love a game that's in like the 70s and don't love a game that's in the 90s, but you can kind of glean something from them. All right, as far as board games are concerned, I'm going to go to the table for the first one, which I think will be kind of fun. Just got this delivery today, and I'm very excited to play this one. It is called Perch from Inside Up Games. Their most popular game by far is Earth, that came out a few years ago. This is a simpler game, plays 2 to 5 players in like 45 minutes, I think. That's what it says on the box. Yeah, 45 to 60 minutes. And in this game, you put out like these location tiles, and then you're trying to get the most points, like usual, by having usually the most control of a location. And the way you do that is you want to have the majority of your colored birds at a specific location. And they stack. You start them on these cool little nests like that. This game plays kind of uniquely where every round, if I was green, which I usually am, I would take 2 of my green workers, or birds, and I'll be putting them out this round. And then I'll also take 2 more and put them in the bag. And everyone will do that. And so then, randomly, out of this bag, I would draw 2 birds. And let's just pretend I got red and blue. Then on this round, I'll be placing 2 of my own birds and then 2 birds of my opponents. So I think that's one of the unique things about this game is you're not placing all of your own birds each round. Very unique. There are also these cool like creature, what would these be called? Tokens that do very specific things based on these creature cards that let you either move things around and stuff like that. It's not a very complex game, but it does have some very cool pieces. I really like these acrylic little dudes. This is a Yeti. Got like the sandworm that looks very much kind of like Dune. He has 2 pieces, his head and his tail. Those were in like the Kickstarter bonus section, but even these ones that I think come in the base game, like this, very, very cool. Acrylic pieces. I really like acrylic. One of the most fun parts about them is they come with this thin layer of plastic on both sides of them. I think it's to protect them from getting like scratched while like they're in shipping and stuff. But it's like peeling like the plastic off a TV or something. And there's so many pieces over here. I got to peel off like 100 of them. So it's kind of fun. But yeah, unique pieces, very unique kind of play style with me placing your birds and vice versa. And some kind of weird fake outs. Obviously going to be a slightly mean game as well, where I'm putting your bird in a bad place for you, and you would be doing vice versa. But it is cool how they stack. The nests are cool. So that's one I'm pretty excited to try. I'm not usually into mean games, but if they're this time length, like an hour or less, then I'm usually not opposed to it, because I didn't like spend 3 hours and then someone ruined my engine I was building at the last minute or something. It's just kind of like a fun, crazy hour where I'm halfway mad at you, you're halfway mad at me, and then we laugh. So anyways, pretty excited to try Perch. I'm going to go back to the screen for the last 2 that I'm excited to play this week. I also got these 2 this week, but I don't have them out on the table. So we'll just go to the Board Game Geek listing here. If the iPad decides it wants to send it over, here it is. So this first one, I just got the expansion to the Veil of Eternity, which I think we talked about last week, or the week before. It adds, I think, 28 new creature cards. These cave. I don't know if cave is the right word. I don't know if I'm supposed to look at the pictures on here, but it's fine. Is this the expansion? Oh, it is. You've got these new tokens and these new. I feel like it is your cave. Basically, you can save cards for later on the spot on the side, and you can take a special ability artifact card each round. But then at the end of the round, you have to put your, like if I was playing green, this green token on top of the artifact card that I played back in the center. And I can't take that artifact again next round. So you can't take the same one multiple rounds in a row. I think that's most of the new stuff. I have an unboxing up on my channel. It should also be here on Board Game Geek. If I click on videos, there she blows.
There it is.
So if you want to see what is inside that box, it does all fit in the base game box. It was a little bit tight because I sleeve my cards, which makes them very tall. And I didn't want to get rid of the insert. If I pulled the insert out, it wouldn't be very tight at all. So anyways, got that one. Excited to try that. It was one of the most popular games of last year as well. Then this one's brand new. A very simple game called Duck and Cover, where you give everyone, I think, a separate like 12 card deck that has different ducks on it. The ducks don't really matter that much. And then numbers 1 to 12, and they'll put them out in front of them in like a, what would that be? A 4x3 pattern. And then every turn, a card will be flipped over in the center and have a number on it, and you have to move that number. and you're trying to, by moving those numbers on top of other numbers, consolidate your 12 cards into a single card in order to not score negative points, because at the end of the round, every card that you have has like these quack points in the bottom right corner. And if you didn't get down to a single card, then you score negative of them for everyone that's still showing. So this section here, they would score a lot of negative. What's that? 10, 14, 15, 16 negative points. But if they were able to get that into like a single pile with maybe this 4 on top, then they'd get 4. Or maybe it's the other way around and you want negative points and a low score. Anyways, you get the opposite if you get to a single pile. Very simple card game. Kind of excited to try it out, though. That's probably it for me for board games this week, though, Devin. All right, I think that brings us to the news, does it not? Is that correct?
Yes.
I think that's correct. Okay, First one. This is going to be kind of quick, Devin. You can throw me that. That's fine.
Okay.
There was kind of some talk going around in the video game industry that some video game analysts said that he was hearing that there was quite a bit of hope in the video game industry that Grand Theft Auto 6 would be priced at $100 instead of $70.
Oh, wow. With how long people play that game, I don't blame them.
Yeah. The analyst kind of said that other companies were hoping that they would do that so that then they could raise their prices, which is kind of silly because Rockstar has spent like, I don't know, $1 billion making Grand Theft Auto 6, and no one else, like anywhere, has spent that much money on their game. So I don't know why they think they could do the same thing, but anyways, that was kind of interesting. I do think it's kind of a weird catch-22-ish. I don't know if that's the right word, but people don't want to pay more for stuff than they have to. But entertainment is going up in price all the time. We talked about Netflix going up in price a couple of weeks ago. And video games, I think, went up in price at the start of the PlayStation 5, maybe, from $60 to $70.
It's super tough because I think it all comes down to your consumption rate.
Yeah.
If I watch 200 hours of Netflix a month, I'm getting a screaming deal.
Yep, exactly.
But if you watch 2 movies a month, you're not.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. And everyone has a different relationship with money and a different amount of money. So $100 to one person is different than $100 to another person. And then, like, how many like hours of entertainment are you getting? Like you said, the consumption rate with GTA 6 might be worth $200 to you because you're going to play it for 1,000 hours. But
exactly, yeah.
But it might not be as well. So it's very much a balance there. I don't think they'll do this because GTA Online makes them so much money in microtransactions. People buying shark cards, I think is what they're called. It's basically currency for GTA Online, so they can buy new cars and outfits and stuff. I think they'll probably just ride out the $70 price and then just know we're going to make so much stinking money so they get to have their cake and eat it too. They get to charge full price and get the microtransactions.
This game's going to do so well.
Yeah. So I don't think they'll do this as someone that knows nothing and have not talked to any analysts. But hey, I'm a data analyst.
You are an analyst.
Just not about video game data. So, but yeah, I don't think they'll do this. I think they'd get a lot of negative press. And I think they'd rather keep the positive press and still make a ton of money instead of get some negative press and make a little more. But I don't know. Anyways, that was a hot point in the last week. A few other things in video games. Xbox had their developer direct last Thursday, I think, and they were had a few cool things. They said they were going to talk about Doom, South of Midnight, and Claire Obscure Expedition 33, and that they would have like a secret reveal. So they showed what that is and then gave release dates for all of those games, which was really cool. And I think new gameplay trailers for all of them if you want to watch any more of those. I especially think Doom looks super cool. They went to like back in time, like a prequel where it's fantasy. Like Doom dude is like fighting dragons and stuff with a shield.
Oh, nice.
And it looks very cool. Let me see here if they do have the release dates here. So Doom the Dark Ages comes out on May 15th. So a bit quicker than I thought it would be. Very, very cool. Again, if you want to watch that video, it is here on Xbox Wire. South of Midnight is coming out April 8th, so even earlier. I think that one looks cool, but I don't know a lot about it.
That looks just like Arcane.
That is true. It has a very similar kind of animation
Did Riot
style.
make this?
No. I'm pretty sure this company's been working on this game for like 4 or 5 years. So I don't know that they like directly were inspired by Arcane, but I don't remember when the first season of Arcane even came out.
It looks awesome.
Yeah. It looks cool. The trailer is like very cool. It's kind of got like this Southern Gothic is what they're calling it here. Where there's like
perfect.
These, like creepy kind of like witch doctors and like this giant crocodile in the bayou kind of thing going on. I don't know.
I don't know why. I just love that Gothic aesthetic. I really do.
And then Claire Obscure Expedition 33 is coming out on April 24th. Pretty sure this one is turn-based, but it's very, very pretty. And looks like it has some, reactive turn-based is what they're calling it. Let me make sure I've swapped over to the screen. I did. Okay. That one looks very cool. A lot of people are pumped for that. And then they kind of had a 1-2 punch of Ninja, I think it's Gaiden, but I've always said Gaiden. I don't know. Ninja Gaiden news. The first one, which I think is the most surprising and awesome, is Ninja Gaiden 4 is coming out this year. Nobody even knew this was being made. I think it's being made by Team Ninja and Platinum Games, I think they said is also working on this. Yeah, developers from both Platinum and Team Ninja are mentioned here. And it comes out this year, so this fall, on Xbox, PlayStation, and PC. Very pumped for that. The trailer looks very cool. I think Ninja Gaiden has such a cool vibe.
Yeah.
It's like weirdly anime and like weird characters, but then like, I don't know.
As a kid, I had seen some gameplay of Ninja Gaiden, but knew nothing about it.
Yeah, exactly. And then
there's more on this Twitter.
There is. Yep, I'll go up to that in just a sec.
Okay.
Then they said, and available today is Ninja Gaiden 2 Black, which I think is a kind of like a remaster of the highly acclaimed and legendary game from 2008. And then Team Ninja tweeted out this picture that I thought was kind of cool. They're dubbing this the Year of the Ninja, because that really cool like pixel art Ninja Gaiden game was announced at the Game Awards for this summer. Looks awesome. And then these other two that were announced at the Xbox show. So 3 Ninja Gaiden games coming out next year. 4 is the big one. Then you've got the kind of 2D pixelated one, kind of with the retro vibes. And then the remaster of the one from 2008. So I don't know. Lots of Ninja Gaiden this year.
Is the Pixel one a remake or is it a standalone thing?
No, I think it's a brand new game from the team that made Blasphemous.
Awesome.
Which is another pretty well-loved 2D kind of Souls-like Metroidvania game. So hopefully it's great. I've played a little bit of some Ninja Gaiden. I think it was a Sigma maybe on my Vita. Can't remember. Really liked it. Again, very weird. Your character moves very fast. Weird jumps and then ///. I explained that really well.
I knew exactly what you meant. Yeah.
Anyway, so people were pretty pumped from that Xbox developer conference. So looks like good stuff. Okay, next up, still staying on the Xbox front here. It was announced that Xbox was the highest revenue earning publisher of December 2024. The interesting thing about that was that 64% of their consumer spending was on PlayStation, which is just kind of even more cementing the way that Xbox is going. Depending a bit less on an actual Xbox, and hey, if we put Call of Duty and as many of our other Xbox games on PC and PlayStation and probably Switch too, then we'll just make a crap ton of money by selling our games everywhere.
Does this mean Sony won the console war?
It means that as far as like what device you're going to buy, probably.
Yeah.
But
I don't really want there to be a winner. I'm just...
Yeah, it's
people argue that, and they have for years.
Yeah, for reals. But at the same time, you're like, does it count as winning if Microsoft is just all of a sudden now making like way more money?
Not really.
It doesn't seem like they're losing. they just aren't selling as many Xboxes and have kind of made a big pivot to we're going to put our games almost everywhere. We just talked about Doom that's coming on PlayStation on day one. That Claire Obscure game is as well. Ninja Gaiden that they're publishing is as well. I think South of Midnight wasn't, of the list we just looked at, is the only one that wasn't announced for PlayStation. And I would imagine it probably is going to be on PlayStation sometime soon.
I kind of like it. Let's get fewer consoles so that I can play with any of my friends.
I agree. I love it. It's easy for me to say as someone that's been like Team PlayStation for 15 years, but really since 1996 or whatever. But I loved my Xbox as a teenager, but it is really nice to be able to just know, okay, I've got a PlayStation 5, and I'm probably going to be able to play Halo on it, Gears of War on it, and whatever else they make, which is kind of cool. So, anyways, that was another news item this week. I think the next two are both back about PlayStation, and I think they're just kind of smaller things. We won't spend a lot of time on them because I don't care too much. But there's a new CEO designated for Sony Interactive Entertainment. His name is Hideaki Nishino. And Herman Holst will continue to serve as the CEO of the Studio Business Group, which just means he's in charge of all the creative studios like Naughty Dog and Sucker Punch. And then kind of a step above him, it says Holst will report to the new CEO, Nishino, which is a bit of a change from the co-CEO thing that they had a minute ago and a different person. So, you care much about that, Devin?
I do.
Yeah. I don't care too much about that as long as make good stuff. And then a lot of people have not liked, I don't know if it's a lot, a few people that have complained about it a lot on the internet did not like that some of PlayStation's games on PC have made you sign into PlayStation Network, even though that's a very common thing, right? You want to play Halo on your PC, you're signing into your Microsoft account. If you want to play a Bethesda game, you're probably signing in now, probably to Microsoft account, but to your Bethesda, whatever. Anyways, Sony has decided that they're not going to force you to sign into your PlayStation Network account, but if you do, then they're going to give you some more perks. And I think the coolest perk, you will also enjoy added benefits like trophies. Being able to play a PlayStation game on your computer and earn trophies because you signed into PlayStation Network. They go over what some of these perks are. You get basically new outfits in these games: Marvel Spider-Man 2, God of War Ragnarok, The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered, and Horizon Zero Dawn Remastered. But the trophies thing is the biggest thing for me. So, very cool. They're going to have a bunch more games come to PC, I imagine. I don't think they see PC as a threat. So I think they're going to release more and more of their games there, even day one, like they did with Helldivers, probably. So, anyways, that was another little thing from them. I think, were those the only two PlayStation bits of news there?
Yes.
Cool.
And this last one's interesting.
Oh, yeah, it was. I guess this one's halfway PlayStation related, but a new Resident Evil movie reboot is in the works, it sounds like. The director and writer is planned to be Zach Kreger, who did Barbarian, which I think you've seen, Devin.
Is that the weird one with the chick under the house?
I think so.
Oh, it's weird.
I haven't seen that.
I've seen it twice. But I swear there's another movie that came out in a similar time frame that was also called Barbarian.
It had like a similar name, maybe. But I think it is the one you're thinking of. Constantine Film is going to produce it along with PlayStation Productions. And I feel like PlayStation Productions has been doing pretty well with their movies and TV shows recently. Uncharted, The Last of Us, obviously on HBO, Twisted Metal on Peacock. I feel like quite a few people liked. I actually didn't watch that one yet. So I don't know. Hopefully that'll be good. Have you seen the other Resident Evil movies?
Oh, yeah.
Have you?
I've seen a lot of like the kind of animated TV series.
Oh, you've even gone that far.
Oh, yeah. I dabbled into this for a minute.
Funny.
because I was like obsessed with Jill Valentine for a second.
I've seen I think just the original. What's her name with Mila Djokovic? Is that her name? It's like the main actress.
The live action ones.
Yeah, the live where like the guy gets sliced in cubes by the laser grid. I think that's the first one, but I remember watching him, and it was cool to see like a liquor on the screen. But then I was like, this movie not very good. So I don't know, but I feel like they made a ton of them, and I think they made quite a bit of money from them.
I think Christopher Nolan should just make a couple.
I feel like he is expensive nowadays.
He's beyond these things.
He's like turned to, I'm gonna make more like realistic stuff. Well, I thought he was with like Oppenheimer and Dunkirk, but now he's making that show based on the Odyssey with Tom Holland. So I don't know what he's doing. But anyways, if you like Resident Evil, look forward to that. I'm guessing it's a year or two out, but I thought that was pretty cool. Resident Evil, man, seeing quite a resurgence. All right, over on board game news, there was only one thing that I thought was really of note. Kind of a very sad note, in my opinion. I've been talking about this guy a lot recently, Devin. If I was going to say, other than Dr. Knizia, if there was a single board game designer I've talked about a lot over the past few weeks, who would it be?
Oh, man, you are putting me
it's
on.
okay.
No, don't.
You
scroll
won't
down.
remember his name.
I won't.
I don't think. But you can try. Here, I'll show you his face. There he is. I don't think we've ever looked at his face before. So
Is that the bad doctor?
no, this is not the bad Dr. Knizia. How about this? I'll give you a hint. He designed Arborea and Daitoshi, which I talked about last week. Daitoshi's right there on the shelf.
What's his name?
His name's a D.
Daitoshi.
Daitoshi. Yeah, it's Danny Garcia.
Oh, I should have known that.
That's okay. I have mentioned him quite a bit.
I'm losing my
lately,
mind.
right?
I'm getting old.
He was just diagnosed with ALS. And so he's been getting a lot of tributes and people reaching out to him and saying that, like, you know, we have sympathy for him and his family, and he's always been great to work with at DeVere and wherever else. And yeah, they say here some of his designs have been Arborea, Barcelona, Windmill Valley, Daitoshi was the one we just mentioned. I don't know a lot about this, but it says, and all this reporting is from Board Game Wire, so shout out to them, but says ALS is a rare neurodegenerative disorder which progressively affects the brain's ability to control muscles. Notable people to have had the disease include physicist Stephen Hawking and American baseball player Lou Gehrig. And that's why this disease is sometimes called Lou Gehrig's disease. I think because I couldn't even see what ALS stands for. Must be something crazy. So Lou Gehrig's disease is easier to say. Really sad. I hate it.
It's way sad. That completely takes all of your movement away.
Yeah.
Doesn't it?
I think it will eventually. Yeah.
I do not like health issues. Ugh,
I know.
They make me sick.
As someone with a chronic health condition, like, I feel bad. Mine is much less, like, kind of scary.
Oh,
Like,
I've had my moments thinking about you being all sad.
That's funny. But I'm not worried about, like, my muscles not working. Just my, digestive tract. But anyway, so heart goes out to him. He's one of my favorite designers recently. I'm super into a lot of the games he's been making. So love and support to Danny Garcia, who definitely listens to the show every week and has absolutely no idea who I am. But
yeah, he writes in a lot and asks a lot of questions.
He does, yeah.
It's crazy.
So, anyways, just wanted to give him a shout out because we're thinking about him, and hopefully they have progressed in, like, what they can do to help with that. Since, like, Stephen Hawking and Lou Gehrig, and maybe he'll be able to have a much more normal life than I'm thinking. But it does sound scary when like they list those, Stephen Hawking, who couldn't even, move without that wheelchair, basically speaking for him and everything at the end of his life. So anyways, Devin, I think that is all for the board game news, though. So if you want to throw me that first one there. And that's everything for all of the news, actually. So a few fun, a few weird, and one sad news item this week. Devin, that is going to bring us to crowdfunding Crowdfunding Corner
Oh shit.
for the week of January. I think it's going to be 31st when this goes up. There's still not a ton of games in crowdfunding, but there are a few that end in like the next 10-ish days or so. So we're going to look at 4 different projects again this week. This first one is called Click-a-Tree. Very weird name, in my opinion. But it was made by one of the most famous board game designers ever. Uwe Rosenberg. He's a German fella who has made so many games that people love. I have many of his games. A Feast for Odin is probably one of his biggest and most complicated games. It's right behind Devin. It's this one right here. You can see Mr. Uwe's name right there. Patchwork is probably his most famous 2-player game about building your own quilt. I'm trying to see where I have that one. I have 2 versions of that one. And he's done so many. I think Black Forest is his most recent game. He's kind of the guy that invented like the feeding your people and like feeding your livestock or they die. He doesn't use that in all of his games, but anyways, very famous designer. This one looks very simple. You are kind of drafting these tiles in order to put trees out, and then you're putting out harvest tiles with these little sickles on them to harvest the fruits from those trees, and you have your own little let me see if that shows that any bigger. Where's the how to play? Maybe it doesn't have one. Oh, here we go. So on your turn, you spend a fruit of one of these, I think 7. Is that 7? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 7 different fruit tiles. And when you do that, you get to take both of the tiles adjacent to it. And then I think they'll be refilled from like the bag or something. And then you'll put those tree tiles out in front of you, in like your own little grid. And then you'll put a harvest tile out with those sickles. And those sickles will help you get more fruit. And you'll keep track of how much of each fruit you have with this track where you have your own markers of all 7 fruit. And you can go up or down on there. So when you spend one, you move it down. When you gain one, you move it up. There's also these little blockers on that track where you can only remove that blocker to let you like hold more of each fruit by meeting some condition. So it looks like a very simple tile placement game, but some of these that are the most simple are the most fun because there's a lot of variability in tile laying games just by the mere fact that you're like, getting different tiles each game, and the way that you like manipulate them and orient them in your field is very different. So anyways, wanted to give this one a shout out because I also thought really quick, the way the round ends, or maybe it's how you win, is there are numbers on the side of your fruit track, and if you get that many fruit past that number, then you win. So you can move like all of them up slowly together. And if I got 6 of them past like this 6 down here, I don't know if you can see my mouse, but then you'd win. Or you can just focus on a couple and like really, bolt them up, try to get them above the 2. So I kind of like that balance where you can do either one of those to win. So looks like a pretty simple game, but Uwe Rosenberg, cool little idea here. It's like you can even get it in a wooden game box and some other, Kickstarter bonuses that always seem to exist. Shipping to the United States from Germany, a little pricey, but cool little game there. Click-a-Tree. It's on Kickstarter for 5 more days until February 4th. Okay. A couple of these are expansions to games that already exist, but I thought they were worth a shout out, so we won't spend a ton of time on them, but Darwin's Journey is a game from Simone Luciani, a very famous designer as well. I think it came out probably 3 or 4 years ago. And this new expansion is called Oceania. I don't know how to pronounce that, to be honest.
Oceania.
Yeah, love that. And you basically play as Darwin, like going... I haven't played the base game, but you move along to different spots, and I think you're kind of like watching wildlife to figure out what Darwin figured out about evolution, and this just adds more animals in Oceania. A lot of the video like went over spiders and different kinds of bugs and stuff. So more stuff in this game. For kind of heavier Euro games like these, a lot of people do like, playing them 10, 15, 20 times and then kind of refreshing your love for the game by getting the latest expansion. So probably not one for me yet because I would like to try the base game first. But I do like those spider meeples for some reason. Spiders are probably my least favorite like land animal as far as like scariness. But like there's something about like a chunky, cute spider where I'm like, okay, you can be on the planet with me. But like the scary ones, I'm like, let's get rid of them. So, anyways, what did I say this was called? Darwin's Journey, Oceania. Has a lot of backers, 6,200.
Well, it's got some love
on here until February 5th. So next Wednesday. I think this next one is not just an expansion, but like a master deluxe version reprint of another very famous game called Teotihuacan, I think is how you pronounce that.
Teotihuacan.
This company, Board and Dice, made like a series of like 3 or 4 games that all started with the letter T. I think it started with Zolkin and Teotihuacan, and then I have Toledum. Oh, right here behind me. But same guy that we just looked at, Simone Luciani. Anyways, and Teotihuacan is I don't know if it's the most loved of those groups. Zolkin probably is, but it's all of them are pretty well loved. And if you really like Teotihuacan, then you can get everything for it here in a very expensive master set. It looks like it's a huge box. Probably has all the expansions, very deluxe components. It does look really cool, but man, that box looks beefy. So again, if this is your favorite game, then maybe this is something to look at. I just thought since it's such a famous and well-loved game, I'd at least bring up this campaign here. It's on GameFound until, what did I put here? February 5th. All right, and then the last one for this week, I think, is a little game called Postcards. And I really liked the art on this one. It's a game about riding your bike through, I think, France, if I remember correctly. And along the way, it's a pretty simple game. You play cards, I think 3 of them on your turn. And they'll let you move to the different regions of France. And you'll get different postcards. And then on those postcards, you can get stamps. And if you fill the postcard with stamps, then you're able to like send it back to your family basically and get points and score it. You're also setting up camps at the different locations, kind of on your trek around the country. And whoever can do that, all of those things the best, is the winner. I thought there was a better picture here of the game board where you're moving around, but maybe I've missed it. It's not a great picture. It's a little zoomed out. Oh, that's a pretty good one. So you're moving around different locations here. Looks like only one person can have a camp at any given circle inside those regions. So if you really like France or wanted a pretty simple game, I really like how it looks. Pretty low cost as well, especially if you are not shipping it over the ocean, but I think it's like 29. Where did I see this? We'll just look over here. Available rewards. Yeah, 29 euros, which is $31 for the regular version, or 58 for the super special one with these nicer pieces that they went over here in the deluxe pack. So anyways, that is Postcards. It looked like a cute little family game. And it's got 600 backers, but not 6,200 like Darwin's Journey. So wanted to give it a little love because I thought it looked competent and cute. All right, Devin, those are the 4 games we're going to look at this week. There's not a lot to choose from this week. What's going to be Devin's pick of the week? I got a 25% chance of guessing your pick of the week. I have a lot
You
of,
do, and at this point, you might have a 50% chance because I'm not going to choose an expansion.
Yep, I thought that too.
So my pick of the week is Click a Tree.
Oh, Click a Tree.
Did I take yours?
I hadn't decided yet, so we'll just look at Click a Tree real quick before we determine that.
Here it comes.
I do think it looks cool. Very simple to play. And sometimes it is nice to just like place a bunch of tiles in front of yourself. At the end, you're like, hey, look, I built that. That tree makes eggplants. This tree, I don't know, mangoes, coconuts, dates. I don't know what grows on a tree.
I don't either.
Cool, Devin. Love that pick. I think of these picks, I'll go with postcards then, since
Perfect.
I also probably wouldn't choose an expansion, even though I wanted to give them a shout out because they're two big, famous games. But cute artwork, looks simple, plays in a pretty short time. I think 30 to 45 minutes, and you're just kind of trying to have the best little jaunt on your bicycle through the country. I do like your little player board too. You have this board with your bicycle on it with all spots for all your little camp tents, and then you like take them off one at a time. And if you can get farther along that tent track, it looks like you get more points and stuff. So very simple, but sometimes I'm just super down for a simple, easygoing game. All right, and that's going to do it for Crowdfunding Corner for the week of January 31st, 2025. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week for episode 45 of Crowdfunding Corner. All right, Devin, and that's going to do it for the episode.
That's crazy.
We pretty quick, not a ton of news or anything. So I think we might record something else. We might play some. Oh, we might even start Tales of Iron here, just like on your account. That way you can sync the save over or whatever. Record the first episode of that. Or we could play a board game, or who am I kidding? We might not do any of that, but I don't know. Something. Going back to our faces, Devin, anything you want to say to the millions of listeners before we bail out for the week? Here at 97 minutes.
Stay sweet.
Stay sweet.
No. What do I want to say? I have no idea. What do you want to say?
I don't know either. Just thinking back to Mr. Danny Garcia. Just cherish life. You never know when life's going to throw you a curveball that you don't expect. Sometimes it's a scary death or accident. Sometimes it's a disease you can't control. Sometimes you win the lottery and didn't know. So sometimes it can be, I guess, something that some people think is good. But be happy with where you're at, because you don't always know what's coming up.
All we have is now.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, shoot.
Did you just make that up?
No.
Cool. All right. Well, that's going to do it for episode 44 of the Super Game Brothers podcast. Make sure to check us out at Super Game Brothers. Nope, that's not right. Patreon.com/Super Game Brothers. And thanks so much for watching. Make sure to like this video, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and check us out on Instagram, TikTok, and wherever else we are. And we'll see you next week for episode 45. Till then, have a good one.